Welcome to BMWBLOG and welcome to the ALPINA B3. Currently I'm in the area of Munich and ALPINA has given me the keys to this B3, which allows me to have a closer look and first drive and share some impressions of the brand new model. As you can see, this is a Touring, but there's also a sedan available. Both cars come with xDrive and there is no other option like rear-wheel drive available anymore. It's all xDrive. This ultimate sleeper has really been updated by ALPINA with a focus on design, dynamics and performance. And across the car you will see all kinds of signature design details such as the tailpipes, the logos on the rear, the wheels, and then at the front of course you will have the free floating ALPINA logo in the lower part of the bumper. But there are a few more things that ALPINA has done on the outside to improve the performance of the car. First of all, they have changed the front air intakes to improve the cooling, and there are some aerodynamic enhancements such as this little lip just above the front windscreen. This helps driving the top speed of 300 kilometers an hour. Next to that we have of course the option to change certain colors, opt for ALPINA blue, add the decal set, which unfortunately is not available on this car, so you don't have the stripes and the stickers on the sides, but you can get those if you feel like. To give you a bit of an insight, the car weighs 1860 kilos for the sedan and 1940 kilos for the Touring, and as of course these are the numbers for Europe, so this adds a person which is normally seen as 75 kilos. So then you have a bit of an idea what the car weighs, and you can also have a bit of a think in the back of your mind how that looks in comparison to the M3 and M4 competition, which has quite similar performance numbers. Then some of the things on the outside we have to definitely touch on is first of all the wheels. There are two options. There's a 19 inch, there's a 20 inch. This is the 20 inch, which is this classic ALPINA look. They save all around the car 13.7 kilos of unsprung mass, which is of course lovely. And next to that they have this signature center lockable wheel hub cover with the ALPINA logo. I'll show you a bit closer. And behind you will see the improved brake kit. At the front you will have a fixed brake caliper setup with discs which are 395 millimeters big, and at the rear you have a free floating setup with brake calipers and a disc which is the size of 345 millimeters. The calipers are of course colored in blue, ALPINA blue to be precise, and at the front you will notice that there is a lovely ALPINA logo on the calipers. If you want, there is a high performance brake kit available as an upgrade if you feel like it, but while driving I already had a feeling that the brake kit is quite suitable and it's quite capable, so I don't immediately see a reason why you would do that. So these are the exterior upgrades and points that are really signature for an ALPINA. Now let's have a look on the inside and in the interior and show you some of the upgrades and changes ALPINA has made inside the Touring. So let's have a look on the inside. Like the outside, the inside only gets a few subtle changes to emphasize on the sleeper ability of the car. First of all, you will notice there is this logo from ALPINA in the door sill that welcomes you into the car. Then there's this emblem on the floor mat. There are also emblems on the front seats, as you can see. And then there are two key highlights, especially for the driver. There are the reupholstered steering wheel with Lavalina leather, the ALPINA logo on the airbag, and the stitching. You can see there's new stitching here and there's new stitching there. It's all hand stitched at ALPINA's headquarters. Then next to that you will have a new UI for the dashboard screen in front of the driver, a lovely ALPINA style UI The functionality is all the same, just the looks are different, and there's this Alpina logo at the top, and it looks wonderful. I really like the look of the display. Same we saw with the B5 and the B7. It just gives you this unique feeling that you're driving an Alpina and something special. Next to that, there is this plaque on the center console which shows you which model you have and which production number, and gives this additional touch of driving an Alpina. For the rest, there's nothing really different or new to the interior. Of course, you can opt for different materials on the doors, on the seats, on the top of the dashboard if you feel like. You know, you can opt anything. You just tell Alpina, I would like to have this particular setup, I would like to have that exterior color, this interior, and they create it for you, which is a lovely opportunity to create an individual setup for yourself. But now that we've touched on the interior, let's touch on the performance of this car, and then in particular a unique highlight that's under the bonnet, and which gives us a setup that is currently not yet available in the market. As we know, the M3 Touring is around the corner, but it's not there yet. So let's touch on the performance, let's touch on what's under the bonnet and discuss the performance of this car. So I've walked around the car, opened the bonnet for you, and here we have it. This is the S58 engine, and you're like, yes, that's an M engine inside of an Alpina, and then in particular inside of a Touring and into a 3 Series Touring, and that's something we have not seen before. Of course, an M3 Touring is in the making, and we'll see this later next year, but at this moment that doesn't exist. So this car is pretty unique in that regards. We've seen this engine in the X3M and the X4M. It's currently in the M3 and M4 competition models. And what Alpina has done is they've changed the engine while also making sure that the characteristic of the engine fits to what Alpina would like to see when they developed a model like the B3. And that means a lot of low-end torque, and there is a lot of low-end torque. From 2.5–3,000 RPM, you really feel the buildup of the torque, and there is 730 Newton meters of torque. That is considerably more than you currently have in the M3 or M4 competition models. That of course are going to be shown next year March, but were introduced a few weeks ago. Next to that you have the 462 horsepower, which is a touch less than the current M3 and M4 competition, but the horsepower will still bring you to a top speed of 303 kilometers an hour in the sedan and 300 kilometers an hour in the Touring. If you want to go from 0 to 100, you do this in 3.8 seconds for the sedan and 3.9 seconds for the Touring, which is quicker than the current M3 and M4 competition. If you want to go to 200 kilometers an hour, it will take you 13.4 seconds in the sedan and 13.9 seconds in the Touring. And that's quick, really quick. This car is potent. It's nippy, but on the other hand also comfortable to drive. It offers the highest top speed among all of its competitors in this market space, and it is the fastest mid-range sedan and Touring in the market. The engine itself received new software and a series of changes, especially to the cooling, and it comes now with a limited slip differential as well. It's connected to a 8-speed transmission with reinforced gearing, and they changed the transmission software to improve the response and faster shift times. Now, I have to tell you that unfortunately this gearbox isn't the most responsive. If you look at, for instance, the MDCT gearbox, which we've seen in the M2 and in the previous generations, M3 and M4, that gearbox was a lot more responsive. The ZF 8-speed that is in this car and in many other BMWs we've seen, it hasn't had the most, response, and isn't the most enjoyable gearbox that we have experienced in a BMW. And even though that ALPINA has upgraded this and you feel the difference, it's still not, you know, sometimes you feel that it should be a touch more faster. But then again, this is a sleeper. This is a car that brings you on the autobahn from A to B in really a lot of comfort and a lot of speed. So does it really need that? No, it's not a sports car. It's not an M car. It's a really a fast you know, sedan and touring that will bring you to your destination in great comfort. And this comfort is coming mainly because of some changes to the handling and the suspension. You will find new sport springs and stiffer anti-roll bars from Eibach on this car, and the variable damper control now offers you Comfort Plus, which is really interesting, and Sport Plus Individual, which is also something we didn't see on the equivalent from BMW, the M340i. So the Comfort Plus option, what it offers you is like a flying carpet ride. Let's call it like that. I've never experienced in a BMW such a comfortable setup for the highway while also having the performance. This is unique for the ALPINA setup. So if you are looking for this kind of comfort in combination with this kind of performance, this is the car you need to go for. The Comfort Plus setting is really nice setting. The car starts, when you start it up, in Comfort. One press of the button in the center console and you will go to Comfort Plus. And that Comfort Plus setting is something that is a highlight, in my opinion, in this car. And then next to that, of course, you have the individual Sport Plus mode, where you can, you know, set the damping and the engine characteristics, the gearbox characteristics, and that sort of stuff, the steering, and you can set them individually, as we've seen before with other models. Next to that, you have 3 steering modes. Those are Comfort, Sport, and Sport Plus. And also here we have ALPINA software that helps you to set up the right mode. Personally, if you're just cruising, Comfort is more than fine. For the autobahn, I would go to Sport. And for that one time in the life of this car that it goes on the racetrack, maybe you could go for Sport Plus. But that's really a setting I wouldn't really go for. I prefer the Comfort and Sport modes for the steering. As I already mentioned, a limited slip differential is available for this car, and the car is mostly rear wheel BS. And you feel that when you accelerate and when you take some of the more twisty roads here in the countryside near Munich. So all in all, a lovely performance setup. You know, this is what you expect from an ALPINA, you know, an understated design, the right kind of upgrades, and the performance that you want to see and you will use on the autobahn and on highways. Yeah, this package is, as a whole, the ultimate sleeper among all of the BMWs, and especially the 3 Series. And then you can also get it as a Touring, and of course as a sedan. But the fact that you can get it as a Touring is of course something which is wonderful, especially for the type of clientele that would buy a car like this and will do a lot of miles and kilometers here on the autobahns across Germany. Other than that, not too much to mention. There's one more detail I want to show you on the inside. We just came from the interior, but we're going back to the interior, and I'm going to show you this little feature which we've seen on ALPINAs before. With regards to the shifting, we have these shift buttons on the top of the steering wheel. So plus here, and there is a, as you can see, a minus there. These buttons we've seen before with ALPINAs, but there are also shift pedals now available. They're CNC machined from aluminium, and they are available in black. But if you want a different color, of course, ALPINA will offer that to you as well, because this kind of individual setup is all what is known to ALPINA. So other than that, what can we add to this package? All I can say is that I really enjoyed driving the new ALPINA B3. It's such a great dailyable package. I don't have many niggles or things that I want to touch on. other than that I just want to drive this more and more and more to experience the sheer brilliance of this performance setup at the front, the suspension changes, and then the interior refinements that of course on this car are not so elaborate, but if you want to, you can of course go a little bit further and get the Lavalina leather across the whole interior and on the dashboard and the seats and that sort of stuff. So yeah, not too much to add other than I absolutely love the car. I love what it does on the roads, how it makes you feel on one hand a comfortable driver, and on the other hand when you need the performance you can really take it and you know, push it and get that performance out of it and bring yourself to speeds over 300, which is something we don't immediately see in this market space. So yeah, Alpina has done, in my opinion, a great job with the B3. This car will be a great success for the brand. As far as I'm aware, this is one of the main sellers among their lineup, and yeah, I think they've done a great job in creating and setting up a package that is absolutely wonderful to drive. The only thing I can tell you, if you ever have the chance to drive an Alpina, make sure that you drive it with the you know, thoughts in your mind that you're driving a car that has the dynamics and the comfort and the performance mixed in a setup that is not necessarily a sports car, but just to be a really comfortable and quick transporter to bring you quick from A to B, and when you step out you feel really well. And that's what it's all about. This is not meant to be an M3. This is not meant to be a ultimate sports car to go sideways and all those kinds of stuff, or to go on the racetrack. No, this is the car for people that want to be understated but still need that performance during their daily drives. And that is what this car does the best. And there are not many other options in the market that are as good as the Alpina B3. In my opinion, the ultimate sleeper and the ultimate high-speed transporter that's currently on the market. And the only thing I can say is, if you ever have the chance to drive one, go for it, drive it, experience it, and feel free to let us know what you thought about it when you got the chance to drive it. Yeah, wonderful, just wonderful. Job well done, Alpina. Time to close the bonnet and go for another drive. It's time to bring back the Alpina B3 to Alpina, say goodbye to it. In the little time that I had the opportunity to drive it, I extremely enjoyed it. And guys, if you ever have the option, definitely drive an Alpina, because it will give you an experience that you not immediately see at BMW, because with the M340i they will get close to this, but the performance levels and the capabilities, the broad level of abilities of this car are nowhere available in the market. And that is what makes Alpina unique, and that's what brand stands out from many of the other competitors in this market space. Anyhow, I hope you liked this video. Please leave some comments down below. Feel free to open up the conversation and let me know what you thought of the B3, what you thought of my little video about the model. Don't forget to like, subscribe to our channel, and we hope to see you soon again on another video of another car, another BMW or Rolls-Royce or a Mini, or maybe an Alpina. Thanks anyhow, have a nice day, and hope to see you soon. Bye bye.